You all could have worked on Google Drive at some point of time, correct? Now, unlike you don't use Google Drive in your day-to-day operations, right? On your data center, right? You don't care about it. But when you come to the cloud, this is called a storage account. Storage account is used on a daily basis by everyone, every engineer, every application, every system implementation will have an integration with storage account. Almost any best architecture you take, they will have something called as storage account involved. Yeah, that plays a very, very important role for anyone who is getting into cloud security. So I just give a very simple example. The equivalent of Azure, storage account is S3. I hope you heard about this hack, no? Okay, if not heard, just look at it. Pegasus Airlines, Turkey-based airlines, leaked 6.5 terabytes of data in AWS S3 bucket. So there was a misconfiguration on the S3 bucket. There is a misconfiguration on the S3 bucket. And 6.5 terabytes of data is leaked, which is like pretty much everything that this airline company has. This even includes payment information, route information, employee passports, everything, pretty much everything about the organization is out. Whose mistake is it? Is it AWS S3's mistake? No, it is Pegasus Airlines mistake. They don't know how to configure their Amazon S3. They don't know how to configure their S3. But we cannot blame AWS on it. AWS has given all the options. AWS has given all the options to configure, but these guys did not use it. These guys did not use them. So ultimately they lost 6.5 terabytes of data. Lost means a copy is leaked. Got it? Now an equivalent service of Amazon S3 in Azure is storage account. Is a storage account. Clear? It's very similar to Google Drive. It is very similar to Google Drive. But the beauty of this is, like Google Drive, you get a link. Via the link you cannot upload. You have to open it in a browser, right? You have to open that link in a browser. But here, programmatically, you can use the link to upload the data. Programmatically, you can download. That means you can write a Java program to upload this to S3 bucket. You can download the data from this S3 bucket. Similarly, you can upload the data into your storage bucket. You can download the data from the storage account with program. So let me go ahead and create a very simple S3 bucket. Again, this doesn't need any rich explanation like the before lab, but I'll directly show you on the screen. It's just a simple Google Drive, right? Yeah, you see the storage accounts here. Click on the storage accounts. So click on storage account. Like Google Drive. Just assume that's a Google Drive, but with lot of more facilities. So it's asking you, OK, I want MSDN subscription. I want to create a lab called as a, storage account RG resource group. And what is the storage account name? Like Google, for example, you have Google Drive, no? You will create a folder, right? Like this, you can create first storage accounts. First, you will create storage account, which is equivalent to Google account. So I'll create a storage account. So I'll say dummy testing account. And this should be unique across the world. OK, storage account name is this East US. Now it is asking, do you want standard performance or do you want premium performance? I'll go for standard performance. And do you want to distribute all the data that is stored in this bucket across the world, or do you just want to keep it in East US? See, this is where you select it. Local redundant storage, geo redundant storage, zone redundant storage, geozone redundant storage. Geozone redundant means it will distribute your copy of data across multiple locations in the world. If you select, then make read access to the data available in the event of global region unavailability. But for our demonstration, we go for a local method. Is this clear? Any questions on this at this moment? I'll come to advanced networking, access control and all as we progress. Yeah. Clear. Next, advanced. Now it is asking you, do you want to enable REST API based communication? That means, for example, if you enable a REST API, what will happen? You can write a Java program, you can write a .NET program, you can write a C# program and directly upload the data via the REST API. Yeah. Do you want to store images and make it public? Yes. Do you want to enable access keys so that you can access via Java program, .NET program? Yes. Do you want to integrate it with Active Directory? No. If you integrate it with Active Directory, so anyone who is logging into this should use Active Directory credentials. On which version you want to expose the URL? TLS 1.2. Now, do you want to design a data lake on this? No, I don't want to design a data lake. I just want to design a simple upload download functionality. OK. Do you want to enable SFTP so that directly you can use SFTP protocol to upload the data into this drive? No. Do you want cross-tenant replication? That means in the future, if you want to share this with someone else, would you like to enable? Yes. Now, do you access the data frequently, or do you want to use this as a backup? That means you can upload your local backup onto Azure. No, I want to use hot so that I can access the frequently. Okay. Do you want to enable large file shares? Like if you have a file of 1 terabyte, 2 terabyte, 3 terabyte, 100 terabyte, please provide file share support up to maximum 100 terabytes. So large file share storage accounts don't have the ability to convert geo redundant offerings and upgrade is permanent. So if you select this, you'll get a capability to transfer files up to 100 terabytes. I'm sure you will not have any file even more than 1 terabyte, right? Anyone of you have any file, one file with 1 terabyte, more than 1 terabyte? You will not. The reason is Windows file system doesn't support it. So you'll never have one. Linux supports. Again, you can change the file system and then make it work. OK. OK, good. Now storage account is clear. Any questions still here on the storage account security configuration? I'll come to network configuration in the next phase. See networking, no? The next one.
Sir, for example, whatever options we have discussed in the advanced section, do we get the chance to modify them?
Yes, you can do that. No. Networking. Do you want to enable public access from all the networks? Do you want to enable public access from selected virtual networks and IP addresses? Do you want to disable public access and use private access? I'll just go ahead and show you simple basic. Enable public access from all networks. And do you want to enable Microsoft network routing, or do you want to do internet routing? At this moment, I'll go with Microsoft network routing. All this is not important at this moment. I just want to show you account. Then data protection. Do you want to enable soft deletes? That means the moment you delete it, within 7 days, you can retain it back. If the containers are deleted, containers are like folders. If you delete the container, do you want to restore it in 7 days? Yes. If you delete a file within 7 days, you can restore it. Do you want to enable versioning? Like, for example, if you upload a file with nishant.jpg and you again upload a file with nishant.jpg, it will maintain 2 versions, version 1 and version 2 automatically. Do you want to enable it? At this moment, no. Do you want to enable version level immutability support? That means automatically if one version gets deleted, can I delete the version? No. So there are so many options that are available. Now, if you misconfigure, it is your responsibility. You cannot blame Azure or nor AWS, like the case in which Pegasus started blaming that it is S3's fault. But however, it is not, because there are million people who are across the world are using S3. And why their systems are not able to hack? Here, the reason is it is misconfiguration. Yeah, any questions? Sorry, I'm losing your voice, Sri Krishna. Can anyone? Can anyone hear what Sai Krishna is
How is it
speaking?
now?
No, no, no.
How is it now?
Yeah, it's fine now.
Yeah. Yeah, continue, Sai Krishna.
Uh,
Sorry, see, Sri Krishna. It's always
so
getting
Krishna, yeah,
Krishna.
yeah, yeah, Ishan. So these logs, whatever logs that will be generated by AWS, that can be used for repudiation, right? They don't explicitly need any other logs to prove that it is not AWS fault.
No, very simple. No, you have made everything public. Your configuration is everything public, and you're expecting that no one should have access. How is it possible? Correct.
Yeah,
Your configuration only will show you that it is your mistake. Yeah.
yeah.
And now when I come to encryption, do you want Microsoft managed keys based encryption, or do you want to manage your own keys? Now tell me, you being a security engineer, will you choose Microsoft managed or customer managed?
I'll let Microsoft manage it.
But if Microsoft manages it, don't ask Microsoft has viewed your data. You are asking Microsoft to manage your keys. Now, if Microsoft is managing the keys, don't come back and tell, hey, Microsoft, why are you accessing my key? You only said you use my key. No, you don't want Microsoft to manage. You don't want Microsoft to read your data. OK, customer managed. Then you create, you encrypt it, you decrypt it. So if there is a flaw in your encryption program or your decryption program, your application is improperly doing encryption, decryption, no proper authentication, then it is your mistake. Don't tell Microsoft has an issue. I hope you guys are getting me right. I want to give you all the details here. So if you say Microsoft managed keys, now that means Microsoft, you are giving full permissions to Microsoft to rotate your keys, to expire the keys. And later you don't tell, hey Microsoft, why did you expire my key? Because as per Microsoft policy, they will rotate it because you are telling Microsoft managed keys. So this is where that architectural skills come, where what option should I choose in my environment, and for my environment, which option makes more sense. And then accordingly, I will choose it. Yeah. OK, now I'll go for Microsoft managed. I'll go for default. See, enable support for customer encryption keys. This option cannot be changed after this storage account is created. See, there are some options which cannot be changed. So you should be very cautious. That's why I'm enabling for everyone. And do you want enable infrastructure encryption? What is infrastructure encryption? That means, do you want storage account to be encrypted and the underlying disk also to be encrypted? See, this option cannot be changed after creating the account. So you be very cautious. If your compliance program tells that you need to store the data at rest to be encrypted. Now what you should do here? It is your responsibility to come here and enable infrastructure encryption. If you don't enable the disk encryption here and say, oh, Azure is not following my compliance. Azure will follow your compliance. You tell to Azure, know that what you want to do. I hope you got it.
Yeah, yeah.
So there are so many options only in storage. Now you can ask me, why are we so much focusing on this? Trust me, out of 100 architectures on Azure, 90 plus architectures uses storage accounts for some or other purpose. Either to take the backup, to write the logs, either to put the junk data, or to upload some static files, get the URL of the static file. Oh, 100 use cases are there for storage accounts. If you want to upload a PDF file and generate a dynamic link and share it with your customer via your application, possible. And tags and review and create. Let me create it first and then we'll jump. Clear? There's so many use cases. Trust me, out of 100 best architectures, if you take in cloud, 90 plus architectures will have storage account as a option enabled. So understanding the storage account and its security plays a very, very important role. Yeah, storage
One
account is
quick
getting
doubt.
created. Yeah, dear.
So let's say we are selecting the Microsoft managed key as the default encryption, and we also ensure that the storage account is not publicly exposed. So does that assure us that this storage account cannot be compromised unless
No,
and
you
until
cannot tell.
we
No, you cannot tell. You say you made it. You make it private. No.
Yeah.
If you make
I
it
make it
private,
private.
what is the use case of private? See, you have to come up with a use case. No.
So if there's some data that has to be there within the network, I don't have to
Good.
expose it to the public.
Good.
So
Now
in
what
that
happens?
sense,
Now what happens? Your act. It is like this. Nishant, I want to connect my network file system to a local network, and my local network doesn't have internet access. Absolutely fine. There is nothing wrong. But what happens if you want to expose something to public? How will you manage the security then?
okay. So can we consider it as this way, that whenever the storage account has to go public, it is recommended to use a customer managed key? Would that make sense?
No, don't link both of them. They are separate. See, if you make it public, you can still use customer managed key, or you can still use Microsoft managed key.
Yeah.
If you make it private, you can still use customer managed key. You can still use Microsoft managed key. Here, who want to manage the keys? That is more important. I'll tell you, if you have looked at maybe in your organization, do you have information security policy? OK, no worries. Just I'll ask you, do you have a key management policy as per your organization? If you have a key management policy in your organization, look at the key management policy. They will very clearly tell that every key will be maintained by our own servers, or every key is maintained by us only. Third party providers will not provide any key. Or sorry, they don't maintain any key. If that is your policy, then you will choose customer managed keys. If your policy tells let the third party manage the keys, then you will use Microsoft managed keys. That is left to your policy. But if Microsoft manages it, you will not get a copy of the key. But if you manage, you will get a copy of the key.
A copy of it doesn't, the keys, or
copy of a key, you will get it.
Okay.
Because you have to manage everything. Now tell me, as per your key rotation policy, every 90 days you have to rotate the key. That means it is your responsibility to every 90 days rotate the key. Because you manage it, no? But if you make Microsoft managed key, then you can write a policy telling that, hey, Microsoft, go ahead and rotate the key every 90 days. It will take care. Automatically, every 90 days, new key gets created, re-encryption, everything, it will take care.
Okay.
Now, this is a storage account. Now, if you go to the file shares, so this is where you can create a file share and then upload it. Yeah, no worries. Clear? See, now under the root restriction, now I can create something like containers. Containers are like folders. Huh? All the activity regarding this storage account will be logged into $logs container. It's a container with all the logs. But at this moment, we will create our own container. We'll create our own container. So this container is container one. Container one means folder one. And in this container, assume that it is folder. OK. Now, do you want private non-anonymous access? Blob. Anonymous read access for blobs. Blob files are like PDF files, music files, image files. Container. Anonymous read access for container blobs. I'll say private. Just for you to show you example. Now, encryption scope. Use this encryption scope for all the blobs. Enable version level immunity support. Now we have not enabled any encryption scope. That's fine. Click on create. Now a simple container got created. In this container, you can upload a file. For example, I'll show you file. Upload a file into the container. Now, at the time of uploading, what type of file it is? Blob file, page blob, append blob, just blob file. What should be the maximum size of a block if you want to configure? I just don't want to do advanced configuration at this moment. Go upload. That's it. Now a file got uploaded. Now you see this is the file. If you go here, if you want to download it, you can download it. If you want to view and edit. So it's overview, versions, see overview, URL of the file. If I go here and paste it. See, resource not found. The specified resource does not exist. Why? Because I did not make it public. No, it's private. Now I have a simple file uploaded. Clear? Any questions? No.
What is that access tier?
OK, now, for example, we know magnetic hard disks, right?
Yeah.
We know SSDs. We know optimized SSDs. Like that, there are access tiers where based on the type of tier you choose, the speed of access will increase. See, hot tier. That means anytime you call this file, it is available. Cool tier. This is like archival. Retrieval times are more. Yeah, archive. It's like if you want to archive for 4 years, 5 years. For example, if I ask you, hey, I want a data in the tape drive, how much time will you take? First, tape drive has to be mounted, and then tape drive has to be converted into regular SSD, copy into regular SSD, and then you will give me access, correct?
Yeah.
I cannot directly mount tape drive to my operating system and double click and open it. Yeah. So that's why based on the type of tier you choose, the cost will change and the retrieval time will change. So if you make it hot, immediately it is downloadable. But if you make it cool, there is a cooling down where like, it will take 1 minute, 2 minutes. You can go to the policies and procedures of each of them. But if you make it archive, 24-hour time is required for you to download the file. You can initiate it and then you can come back after 24 hours to download that file. But the cost will be very cheaper. If for one file it is taking $1 here in hot, this will be $0.01 archival. Very, very cheap. Obviously, why we need this? For example, I work for a central bank. As per the central bank rules, I need to store the data for 12 years. So why will I keep it in the hot? Because it's a 12-year-old data, no? I'll keep it in the archival so that I'll decrease my cost. Clear?
Yeah.
This is my container. Like this, I can create a file share. I can create a file share and mount this directly onto my Windows, which is on cloud. For example, I want HR data. Simple. Click and create. A file share is created. The maximum size of the file share is 5 TB by default. You can extend it if you want. See, you can make it connect. You copy this and run it in Windows. You copy this and run it on Windows. That's it. This will get mounted as a Z folder. This will get mounted as a network drive on a Windows system. Then if you want to make use, if you want to create tables, you can create a table based storage account. Not equivalent to as database. This is like uploading a CSV file and running queries across it. And then you have a storage browser where like a file explorer, you can browse them. See, like a Flyer Explorer, you can browse them. Then you have networking configuration where you can enable from all networks, network routing, private endpoints, custom domain. You can give a custom domain also for your endpoint. Then you can actually deliver it using caching. You can encrypt it, geo replication, data protection, object replication, static website can be deployed on this. See, you can deploy a very simple static website. Say index.html should be the default file. And you see, you will get an endpoint here. You just publish this, your website will be available. See, the request web page is not configured because I never uploaded any file, no? So you can do a couple of options. See, an Azure storage container has been created to host static website. If you select website, see there is a $web created. If I upload a index fetch index.html, let me see, do I have an index.html? I don't have an index.html. Let me quickly create one on the desktop. Again, this is not a part of the lab guide. I'm just showing you extra demo. Let me upload the index.html. Yeah, upload it. Yeah, we have uploaded now. If I go and see here, see, hello, welcome. This is a website. We just deployed it in 2 seconds. I have shared the link. You can click on the link and your website is up and running now. And I can upload any static file and that static file can be published as an internet website. OK. Yes, I'll give you like 15 to 20 minutes to complete this lab and then we'll continue with the next lab. Now, in this case, I have shown you what is the usage from a system admin point of view. In the next lab, I'll show you how to do security when you integrate this with other applications. OK. I hope is it fine? Because in the last class, I have only focused on security, but now I'm focusing on use case and security. Because I'm sure some of you are coming from a very new, right? So whatever, rather than making automation, I'm making everything manual. Yeah. OK, cool. Yeah, please take 20 minutes and complete this lab and then we will continue. The lab here is blob storage. The lab that you are going to see is the blob storage. This lab you need to complete. And don't forget, once you are done, you delete all the, just delete the resource group itself. Don't delete one by one. Just delete the resource group itself everything will be taken care.
One small problem that I'm facing. In the
Yeah,
previous
Venkatesh.
we couldn't see the recommendations. I don't know where.
You don't get the recommendations yet? Just show me once. It should be there, no? It should come automatically. How about other people? Yeah, click on the DB security. Underscore home. There is on top. Yeah, click on DB security. Yeah, just reload this entire page for me, please. Thank you. Yeah, click on that Azure AZ500. First one. First one. First. No, not that one. The first one. Yeah, now go to the Azure Defender for Cloud. See, we have all recommendations in Defender for Cloud. Why it is not showing? See, you may be viewing limited information. To get tenant wide visibility, click here. Just do that. Find me. Just enable security admin role. And yeah, get access. It should show actually.
Can I go back to recommendations, sir? Hello?
Hello?
Can I go back to recommendations?
Yeah. Yeah. I'm not sure why is it not showing. It's ideally it's supposed to show all the recommendations. How about other people? Are you also getting the same issue?
Yeah, Nishant. I am also getting the same.
Yeah, same issue.
For me, also same issue.
Okay, let me look at it. You continue with this lab. I'll just relook at it.
Maybe is it because of the student subscription or something like that?
Not like that, because we have enabled the 30-day trial version now. Okay, I got it. It will take 24 hours time to populate for the first time. Sorry. Yeah, let's what you do. Okay, don't do anything now. Okay, when you come to the next week's lab, no, I'll show you that, because by the time your Defender will be enabled. Yeah.
So now can we say delete this resource group?
Yeah.
Or
You go, do this. Go for the next lab.
okay, I can delete.
Thank you, Nishant.
Yeah.
Nishant, if I have to see the file from the browser, what is there in the blog? If I'm making that file as public, will I be able to use any link and access those files?
Yeah, but at this moment, as per the lab documentation, we are not making it public. We can make it public and then we can see it. That should not be a problem.
We will still get the link if we make it public, is it?
Yeah. We will get a public link. For every file that you upload, you will get a public link once you make the bucket public as well as the file public. So there are two stages of policies. One is a bucket level policy, that is container level policy will be there. Then storage account level policy will be there and the item level policy will be there. So you need to enable all the three ways. But if you see, that's why the $web, the moment you created it became public, because the moment you enable that static hosting, all policies are overridden for that bucket or the container. Got it? Anyway, don't worry, we will show you that. Hello, you got it?
Yes, Nishant. Yeah.
Okay.
So you have to make both container and file as well, both public.
Public.
Okay.
Correct.
If you make a folder public, we can access only container, not the file.
Actually, what happens is the policies get enforced from the storage account level. Inherits. Yeah, the same happens even if you go for even Azure. Once you write the bucket level policy, now actually it is changed where you write the bucket level policy as well as object level policy. I hope it is done. I think I can see pretty much.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, easy, you know, you just go ahead and make it public and that's it. You will get a URL for that. Yeah. Okay, let me also show you. Very simple. Just create a simple folder, guys. Here, if this is your resource, go to containers. Just create a simple dummy container. OK, you can observe on my screen. Just create a container and upload a file to it. Select the file. You will get the URL for the file. I think I have shown you, no?
Yes, sir.
In my previous demonstration, it was private, so it was not visible. Now I make it public. How do you make it public? At the time of upload, no, you can select it. At the time of upload, you can select the access. See, like this, you upload it and then make it public. And you can do a lot of stuff actually.
And I have changed the access level at the container level.
Yeah. So if you change it to container level, so everything can be accessible. So you see here, blob anonymous. Anonymous read access for blobs only. Blobs only means each blob you can read independently. But if you make it container and blobs, the entire container is available. Which is a risk, huh?
Yeah.
Yes. Good. I assume that this is done. Let's go and do the next activity. OK. I can just go ahead and go to the resource groups. I'll just delete the existing resource groups. Always make a habit of cleaning it, because today you are working on that $100 credit. Later, if you start working on your credit card, you don't want to leave it as it is. Like me, sometimes I lost when I was studying, I lost 20,000, 30,000 just like that, because I forgot to create stop servers. I was practicing something last week on my AWS for Azure, and somehow I forgot it, and then $400 gone. So yes, it happens. That's why be very cautious. Yeah, but I was practicing something big. It was a big network, so I forgot to delete a couple of resources. So that's why I always encourage to do it. Yeah, next one. Now this is what you saw was very simple implementation of a container, but in the real world you will never use such a simple way. In the real world, you will never use storage accounts in a very simple way. Your real world implementation will look entirely different. So let me go ahead and explain you the real world implementation. OK. Now, whatever you learned, you will revise it in this lab. OK. First thing, what you're going to do is you're going to have your virtual network, and in this network, you are going to have two subnets. One is called as public subnet. The other one is called as a private subnet. OK. Public subnet and private subnet. And you are going to write a rule. You are going to write a rule. So let me explain that. So this is how it's going to be at a very high level. This lab is going to be at a very high level, these things. So you're going to create a virtual network with public and private subnets. With public and private subnets, you are going to create a network. And then for the private network, you will enable something called a storage endpoint. You will enable something called as storage endpoint. And once you create a storage endpoint, you will also create a storage bucket or storage account. Once you create a storage account, you will also create a file share. You will create a file share in the storage account. And then you will write rules in the NSG. You will write the rules in the NSG so that only from the private you are able to access the file share. You will only be able to access the file share from the private network. From the public subnet, if you try to access this, it is not available. You asked me, no, how do you make it public? Public I have shown you, but if I am keeping it private, how will you make it available to a server? You should be making it available to a server also, no? You have to consume it, right? If you make it private, where will you consume it? Just to upload. Upload files also you need a server, right? Is it clear?
You mean the server in the sense the server in the private subnet or?
Yeah, the private subnet. See, ultimately you have to upload and download the files. Now, how will you upload and download the files? Your application has to upload and your application has to download it. Correct?
Yes, yes.
Yeah, that's what we are working on.
In the real-time scenario, for example, if my website want to access some kind of image content and all, then we can store that in the this kind of option.
Correct. You can upload into the blob storage and take the URL and do an embedded in the HTML as an iframe or as a href URL. Okay, let's go ahead and do that. So this is how the network will look like. So you're going to create a virtual network. You're going to create public, private, create an endpoint, then enable the network security group, and then test the storage account access. Whatever you learned in the previous class, you are implementing all of them together. OK, now here I'm not doing any automation. Everything is done manually. OK, let's go step by step and create a virtual network. OK, clear? Let me go ahead and create a simple virtual network here. Go to the VNets. Create a virtual network. I just need to create a resource group in the Microsoft subscription. And my virtual network is going to be my virtual network in the East US region. Oh, I'm just running the validation blindly. I should go ahead and create a public and private subnets. No, I forgot. So go to the IP addresses. This is the network public IP address. See, there is something called default. I'll make this default as public. I'll select this default. I'll make it as public subnet. And you see there is no service endpoint. If you don't create any service endpoint, you cannot connect to any other service. If you want to connect to any service, you have to typically use service endpoints. At this moment, from public subnet is just like anyone. Public subnet is just like anyone. And security. Nothing. Next, create. I just created a simple virtual network with public subnet. Clear? Any doubts?
Even after creating the virtual network, we can still assign the IPs.
Absolutely, absolutely. You can manipulate.
Okay.
So in very rare conditions, you cannot do it after creation. In almost all conditions, you can manipulate things after the configuration.
Okay.
Sir, once you create some resources inside the virtual network, then even then can we modify the cited ranges or not inside the network?
Yeah.
Does it automatically change the private IPs of the machines VMs which are?
No, you cannot change the entire network.
Well, that's the question. For example, once we create a VNet and assign a particular cited range, you cannot change that, right?
Hello?
Hello? Yes.
Can you hear me?
Now we can hear you.
Okay, okay, sorry, I lost the connectivity. 1 second.
The question is like once we create a VLAN with a particular side range, then cannot change that side range for, or we can change it.
No, you can change it. You can change the virtual network cider range. Yeah. Okay, now what we did is a simple, see, I have created my virtual network and you have a public one, right? See, you can select the public. You want to change the public to 1 cider range. You see, the subnet is not contained in this virtual network address. Okay, I'll just make it 0. You're seeing no on my screen.
Yes, sir. Yes.
See, you still have 1 and you can save it. The subnet changed. Now DHCP, everything will change automatically. Now you see 10.1.0.0, but ideally our network is 10.0.0.0, right?
This is possible because you have not created any
resources. Correct. Correct. Once you start creating the resources and all, then it will be difficult.
Yes, yeah, this is what I'm
Okay, at this moment mine is public, so am I assuming? Yeah, it's public. Now let me go ahead and make it private. Let me go ahead and create a private network also. So create a private subnet 10.1.0.4. Now, if you look at it, there is a service endpoint, right? Now you want your private subnet to talk to whom? To storage account. So select Microsoft Storage. So from now, your private network has the capability to talk as long as the permissions are there. As long as the permissions are there, your virtual network has the capability to talk. Clear? Now you have a private network and you have a private subnet and a public subnet. Now we need to create a network security group now, because we need to protect our private network and public network. So create a network security group.
What is this policy, sir? Like, what is the service and endpoint policy? How can we create it? Yeah,
we will discuss that later, because on this endpoint also you can put a policy to whom you can talk, to whom you cannot talk. Like when we say storage account, no, did we mention which storage account? No, so that can be written. That I'm going to do it in different way. Okay, so let's go ahead and create a network security group.
How have you differentiated like some subnet is private and something is public? You haven't considered anything like that.
No, we have not done that yet. Okay. We have not differentiated them yet. Once at the time of adding it, I will differentiate it. Okay. At the time of adding the rule, right? So yeah. What I will do, I will write a rule to deny all, and I will write a rule to allow all, for a private and public accordingly. In the next stage. So from private, I will deny everything. Sorry, from private, I will only allow to the storage account, and from public, we will see. I'm not differentiating between what is private and what is public at this moment. So I have created a network security group. Now, once we create a network security group, first thing from this, outbound rules. Now, what outbound rule we will write, we will see. First, let's write an outbound rule. What should go via outside? So if I go ahead and add, if you look at what should go out from private,
HTTP request to storage.
so only the access to the storage account should be there. That's it. Correct? From the private. And then from the public also, output should go to the storage account, right? So I will say, rather than source, we'll say service tag, and we'll say virtual network. From the virtual network, from any virtual network, from any port to storage account, to the storage account on all the ports, on all ports, on all protocols, I will allow. I will allow everything from my virtual network towards the storage. From my virtual networks, I will allow everything towards the storage. It's a blanket output rule. That means any traffic that can be generated from my internal network can go out, When I say virtual network, that is to the full, to the public subnet and private subnet. Clear? I'm making my entire virtual network to talk to the storage account. Is it clear? Outbound rules.
Yes, sir. And the destination port range is any again?
We are not looking at any port. It's a service tag. So in a service tag, because there is no IP address for this, no? Is there any IP address for the storage account? No. It's a simple API and HTTP call. And if you want your blob, you can mount it as a regular file share. If you want, you can use it as HTTP, HTTPS. If you want, you can use a STP, SFTP if you have enabled. So you don't know what type of protocol you can enable on storage account. That's why we are accessing on all ports. OK, now we are telling that, OK, from here it can go out to outside. Now what we will do, we will also say, again, we will write one more outbound rule. We will say anything that is going towards the internet, we will block. Anything that is going towards the internet. So from service tag, virtual network, to the service, what? To the storage account. See, storage account, blob services, SaaS platforms, all of them doesn't have IP addresses. You can mention it with tags. Custom, any port, any protocol, I will deny it. Deny all traffic. So what does that mean? Which traffic, which one will take effect? Where am I telling? Not to the storage, sorry, internet. So what am I telling? From my virtual network, if I want to connect to internet, it is blocked. From my virtual network, if I want to connect to the internet, it is blocked. Now, is it blocked or what? Just observe. Virtual network to the internet. Custom port, any protocol. Am I denying? Am I denying?
You're not denying everything, but
You're denying only the internet access.
Denying only the internet access, right? Let us see what is the behavior. I'll show you. Just let me add it. I'm explicitly denying. Now tell me. First, I am allowing towards the storage network, correct? Apart from anything in the storage, I'm denying it. Clear? You can ask me, Nishant, why did you write a deny rule? By default, there will be deny, no? No. Observe. Allow VNet outbound to virtual network allowed. Allow outbound to internet allowed. By default, it is allowed. By default, outbound connection is allowed in the NSG. So that's why I'm writing an explicit rule to deny it. Okay. Please observe this and ask me if you have any questions. By default, outbound was enabled, so I disabled it.
How are we saying this storage is not within our network, but it is something we are trying to access through?
Storage you cannot keep in your network. In the previous configuration, have you ever seen storage to choose in which virtual network it should be?
No.
Then, so you will never be able to tell, hey, storage, you be in my network, you be in other networks. Storage account is storage account. It's a service in Azure. So you can tell to Azure that, hey, Azure, I want to access that storage service. That's it. You cannot have IP addresses. You cannot don't have port numbers. Got it?
Yeah.
It's a different. Don't think or don't assume that it is IP address. OK, I have to write port number, protocol. No, it's a service. You should know how to handle services, not IP addresses and ports. If it is IP addresses and port, I have a firewall. No. A typical firewall can be used, but this is not firewall based. This is service based, where you have to assume things because you are working on a SaaS model. So you have to assume that, yes, there is something like this and it is going to get access. But assuming things will not make sense. No, we have to test it. So that's what I'll show you. You assume things now and then I'll show you how to test it.
So as just a clarification, as you said, like this is network security that works on L4, and then you have to compulsory give a rule on L4 level. So this is a service, right? So how this is?
No, you don't know. So you know it's a service, but the moment you write tags, no, the moment you write tags, it understands. Azure understands that this is towards internet, this is towards specific storage. It understands that each service. OK, so you have to start coming out of the data center world. In the data center world, you only work on IP addresses. OK, let me ask a very simple question. You worked on firewall, Venkateshwara, anytime before?
No.
OK, have any one of you worked on firewalls? There is something called zone based firewall, right? You name one interface as in one zone, you name another interface in another zone, and then you write rules based on the zones, not based on the IP addresses. Example, if this is a firewall, if this is zone number 1, and if it is zone number 2, and if it is zone number 3, you will never write rule based on the IP addressing schema.
Okay.
I do understand because you're not coming from that background. It is getting difficult for you. See, typical rules are from 192.168.1.1 to 10.1.1.1. They are old based firewall rules. In a zone based firewall rules, you will say zone 1 to zone 2 allow. That's it. When you say zone 1 to zone 2 allow, firewall understands that 192.168.1.1 to 10.1.1.1 it should allow.
Okay. So
And you say port 80.
Okay. Can I understand this like a layer of abstraction to hide the things on?
Correct. See, it's automatic. It's automatic because it's a part of the service. It understands what it is.
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Now, that's why you need to switch your mindset from data center to the PaaS world. You remember I was telling you PaaS, platform as a service, infrastructure as a service, where in infrastructure service, you take care of everything. Platform as a service, the provider will take care. So you have to start assuming that when something is not in our control, you have to assume that someone else will take care.
Yes, sir.
Yeah. Now this was an outbound rule. Now let's write an inbound rule. But now tell me, if I want access, if I have to access one of the machines, no?
Yes, sir.
So to which machine we have to give access?
The public subnet.
I'm telling that anyone from outside can access the public subnet and private subnet. Anyone from the internet can access because we have to log into this system. No, how will you log into this system? To test, we need to log in, right? Add from anywhere else in the world, from any source port. If any traffic is coming towards virtual network, if any service coming towards virtual networks, that too on RDP port, allow it. Only RDP is allowed to all virtual networks. Only RDP is allowed to all virtual networks from outside.
Sir, why can't we limit this to a particular subnet range?
You can do it, no problem. I have to show you multiple demos, right? I cannot show you the same demo always. I have to show you how to do it with tags. I should show you how to do it with IP addresses. I should show you how to do it with different demonstrations. I'm doing it with different ways. If I use every time IP address, no, then you will never know how to use tags. You will never know how to use labels. So I'm just using tags here. That's it. Different ways of showing the same demo. Now an inbound rule is created. Now tell me, you have created rules, but to which subnet this is applicable? To which subnet this is applicable? So you have to associate this with private subnet and public subnets. You have to associate this with private subnet and public subnet. So now these rules will be applied to private subnet and public subnet. Someone asked in the morning, can I actually write one NSG and put rules? I hope the demonstration is clear now.
Yes, sir. Yes.
Yeah. See, that's what you asked me demo. I have it ready actually. I thought again when the situation comes, I'll tell you. See, this is about the yesterday you asked in the morning, no, the same question. Can I have one subnet, can I have one security group associated with multiple subnets? And can I actually write one rule? Now you see, when you have to write rules like this, you have to switch to tags. That makes more sense. Because you are writing it at a global level, no? You want global rule, right? This is a global rule.
Yes,
Yeah. But this is bad way, huh? This is a bad way of writing. But I'm still teaching because you should know it. OK, clear? Good. Now the rules are clear. We need storage accounts. Let's go ahead and create a storage account. I don't have any storage accounts at this moment. Let's create a simple storage account. Yeah. This is a demo storage account. East US region standard. I don't want. I want just local redundant storage because we don't want to replicate it. OK, click on next. Any doubts here? Advanced. I'm not touching anything here. Networking. I'm not touching anything here. Encryption tags, review, just review and create. I'm just going to create a very simple storage account. Let's wait for the storage account to be created. Meanwhile, observe the architectural diagram so it's clear. Get the storage account takes 2 to 3 minutes. Observe the diagram.
We still differentiated public and private subnets. Now, now both are public only.
No, we never differentiated them. It is for our meaning.
Okay.
It's our just meaning. That's it. It's like this. I'm telling my name is Tiger, but I'm not a tiger, no?
We can go ahead and remove the public IP from the public public IP.
But if you don't get a public IP, how will you do RDP into it?
Not for the public subnet, for private subnet.
Yeah, but then then what you should do? You should go into public subnet and use it as a jump server to go into private subnet, which you have already done in the last class.
Yeah.
Okay, the storage account is created and the rules are there. Now in the storage account, we have to create a file share. Let's go ahead and create a file share. And the file share is my name file share. I'll just go ahead and create it. Now, see, this is the file share and this file share can be accessed with what? See, if you want to mount it, storage key, just copy this. Copy this key because this is very, very important in the next phase. OK. Clear. Now in the storage account, I just copied it and I'll keep it safely somewhere here. Go to the storage account, go to the networking. Now observe at this moment enabled from all networks, enabled from all networks. Now enabled from selected virtual networks and IP addresses. So from where are you allowing? From which network will you allow? Add an existing virtual network and make the virtual network. Now tell me from which subnet you are allowing? From private subnet. From private subnet. So only from private subnet I will allow the traffic. Is it clear? So at this moment, private endpoint connections are not there, but enable from the selected virtual networks and IP addresses, and then you are using it from a virtual network. That to which subnet? Only from private subnet. I'm allowing the traffic to come and hit. What you learned in the before class is service specific configuration. Now this is architectural configuration. That means in the real world, this is how you configure it. Your requirements may change, your things may change, the way you look at it will change. OK. So now this is configured. It's configured. Now let's go ahead and deploy virtual machines in our network. Let's go ahead and deploy 2 virtual machines in the network. So for that, what I would do, I'll just go to virtual machines section. Meanwhile, I'll create one virtual machine here. So here it's called as MCT, then resource group is lab 12. I'm going to create a private virtual machine in the East US. Availability zone no, blah, blah, blah. Security type is normal, and then Windows Server Data Center Edition 2, 2 CPUs, 8 GB RAM. I'm just going with it. Local admin. Just change the username to anything else. Huh? Just don't worry about the thing. My username is this. No. Allow public inbound ports? None. If I disable this, what will happen? Will I have access to the subnet? Can I reach it? Okay. Observe public inbound ports is disabled. I'll go to disk. Just premium SSD, doesn't matter. In the networking, is it a public system or a private system?
Private system.
Private. That means it's a private IP. See, subnet is private IP. Now, do you still want to enable public IP address to this? You can enable, no problem. You can enable a public IP. But what will happen if you enable a public IP? Will I be still able to access? No, just rest
No.
of public IP. I'll do that also, no problem. So network security group is none. See, I'm not assigning any security group. Huh? I know I have to assign it, but I'm not assigning it because I want to fail. I want to fail and show, no? If I do misconfiguration, then only I'll fail it, right? I'm just doing a misconfiguration here. Now I have created a private virtual machine. While this happens in the background, I'll create a public virtual machine now. Be very cautious, guys. Trust me. Many errors will come when you do it. When you're looking at it, may be easy, but with the experience, I'm telling it will be an issue. Now, see, I'm making public inbound port none. Disks, networking. I'm just making the public IP address here and network security group again none. No, because I assigned none. Do you think I'll be still able to access?
No, I think by default you are assigning a subnet, right? So subnet is associated with the network security group.
So subnet will take precedence.
I mean, because we don't have anything for a VM specific, so it should take the precedence.
OK, let me run it and see. Connect RDP. I'm talking about private. Huh? I'm trying to test the connection from private. So downloads on my desktop. I'll put this and I'll open private. See, is it giving me access? Local admin. I still got access. See, I still got access. Why? Because subnet level NSG has taken precedence, then network NIC level. Clear? If I do anything at the time of creating the server, it is a NIC level network security group. It is a NIC level network security group. But because I'm relying now on subnet level security group. Clear? Good. Now tell me, if I go ahead and mount, will I be able to access?
No, no.
Which one? Storage account?
Yes, yes. Because you didn't do the client.
OK, let me go ahead and see that. right click, PowerShell. I'll use PowerShell script now. I'll go with PowerShell ISC.
Sorry, so I thought like from outside, okay. You are mounting it from.
Yeah. Now I take this. I'll take this. Copy. Now tell me, do I need to do any changes in this? No need. As it is, I can take it and then deploy it. So copy. Paste. And then enter. So it is trying to connect to server. Credentials added successfully. Credentials added successfully. Clear? Now if you go here, go for the Explorer. Did you see the Z drive mounted? You create any file here, it gets reflected. Created from Windows VM. This is created from Windows VM. Exit, close it. That's it. Created from Windows VM. Clear? And from here, I will check. Can I access internet from here?
No.
Why not?
You've put the deny rule.
Yes, I put a deny rule. Because I put a deny rule, what will happen? This will not allow internet connectivity. See, it is taking so much time, so it will never allow internet connectivity. Clear? Very, very important to understand. Now, whatever we have done is from a private subnet, right? I'll close this. I'll close this. Now I will go to the public. Now I will go to the public. This is the public server. No, connect RDP. Download the file. Now I will run on public. Now, if I run the same script, do you think it will work?
No.
Why it will not work?
Yeah, even only access to the private subnet to the storage account.
OK. Shall we try and check? Now, if I have to take an application backup, can I take an application backup onto a network drive? If I have to take an application backup, can I take an application backup? If I want my application logs, can I write my application logs into a storage, external storage?
Yes.
That's it. And that external storage is protected from only few systems. I hope it makes sense. So I'll copy. I'll go here. I'll close this. I'll open PowerShell. ISC. If I paste it here. So what should happen now?
You might not get it.
Why it worked?
Maybe you can mount, but you can't access.
Okay. Oh, I can read. But why? What mistake I have done?
I think you associated the storage to public as well.
Okay, let me also check whether internet connectivity is there or not. See, why is it not working? Where the mistake happened? Can you identify very quickly?
For the internet connectivity, you are asking, sir?
Sorry.
The internet connectivity is not there because you have added a network security.
So if you look at the associations, for the network security group, sorry. Just a second. I'll go to NSG and I'll show you where the mistake happened. NSG. Go to network security group. Subnets. Just look at this.
Yeah, we have assessed both subnets.
I should only make it to public, no? Sorry, I should only make it to private, right? I should not make it to public. Yeah, I should not make it to public. I should only make it to private. Clear? Now what will happen? If I go back. Look at it. See, it's already communicated to internet. It has already communicated to internet.
But the
So
subnet was denied,
takes
right?
time. It takes time. Which one? I never associated anything with public, no. So there is no rule that is applied for public.
No, but the outbound rule, the inbound and outbound rule were defined
For whom it is applicable? Yes, dear.
NSG.
NSG. But when I have never associated NSG with any subnet, with public subnet, why will it allow? Why will it push?
No, I mean just now you had associated with public, right? So it
I
would
have deleted.
denied.
No, I have deleted it. Disassociated, not associated. Okay, now it will take time, you see, but it is working fine. Now, apart from that, just to observe it, see, it takes time anyway. I'll show you in the Explorer. If I'll remove it from here, I'll unmount it. Disconnected. Now I will run the same script again. Now what should happen? It should deny.
Yeah.
See, is it denied? Oh, it's telling already Z is existing. But where is Z existing? I don't see it. What I should do then? If I disconnect, it's gone, no? But if I go to network shares, not available. Let me do it again.
You can change the drive name.
What I can do is I can change the drive name to something else. So I'll disassociate this and then change the drive name to maybe yum. Just making it to yum. Copy. Paste. Oh, I can still communicate. So that means I'm allowed to only communicate from a public IP address, right? So maybe the rules has not taken effect. Maybe the rule have not taken effect. Can I do a very small thing? Can I restart the machine? If I restart the machine, the rules may take effect, no?
Yeah.
So this is where a lot of cautiousness is required, where if you assign things in Azure, it takes time for reflection. Not only here, even in many other cloud providers, it will take time to reflect. Yeah, I'm just logging into now to my public and see. I have just disassociated. No, rules will take time to effect. I'm waiting for the public to come out.
Usually, just disassociation and association of the subnet should not face this much time. Usually,
It should not take, but yeah. Just waiting for the pop-up to come. Once again. I'm currently logging into my public. Let me verify its IP. Public is 36. So 21, 27, blah, 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 36. So public's this one doesn't have a service endpoint. Yeah, that's very important. Where is my this one?
Actually, you should associate the public
I
subnet
should
also,
associate
right?
public
With the NSG.
Okay. Why
Because right
it is
now only this
important?
private, right?
Yeah, why it is important for me to associate?
Only then will it communicate within the virtual network. So
It
right now you
communicates
only have.
also my. No, it's not mandatory because that's what I'm thinking. Okay, when you have created a very simple VM in the first class, did you associate anything? Nothing. But how did it work? There is something called as default. That's what I want you to help you out. There is a default network. Every network comes with a default all allow policy. Let's see this here. I'll show you. OK. PowerShell ISC. Let me see whether it will take effect. So network. I have to disconnect. Network. Do I see anything? No. Let me see anything. Anything I can discover at this moment? No. TS client. No. I'll paste it here. Working fine. So that means my rules are not taking effect.
Yeah, the inbound.
So what was the mistake? Is it in the rule side?
Can we have a look at the rules?
Yes. I enabled from a selected virtual networks and said my virtual network only from private. I have enabled, correct? So I'm expecting only from the private network. And if I look at my inbound rules, let's look at this. Inbound rules. RDP from to the virtual network, but outbound rules are from any to storage. See, from any to any storage. That means Everything is allowed towards the storage, but I have restricted my storage, no? See, anyone can send it to storage. Anyone can send it to storage, but storage should only accept what? Private, no? Why is it accepting public subnet? Look at the public subnet. What is the IP of the public subnet? 10.0.1.5. So it should not accept.
The public one is 10.0.1.5. 10.0.1.5 is part of private one.
That means did I name them wrongly? Did I actually see? Observe, huh? Observe. Private is 10.0.1.4. Private is 10.0.0.4. Sorry, 10.0.1.4. Private, correct. Public should be 10.0.0 subnet. So what did I do? I made it as public, but I configured it in a wrong network. Correct?
Yeah.
See, ideally this should be in what network? 10.0.0.4.
04.
But I configured. So what should I do? I delete this. I have to delete this, no?
Yep.
And I have to recreate the server. You understood?
Yes, sir.
I want to tell to all the people that name doesn't matter. Where you put matters. Okay. See, even though it is public, but I put it in a private. Does it matter? Name doesn't matter. What matters is in which network you are in. Clear?
So you can't edit it here, is it? Or you have to create a new?
No, I just want to delete it and recreate one just freshly. The same process. You can edit that
But is
also.
there
You can
a-
shut it down. You can shut down and change the network.
Okay. Create a new network interface and then.
Yeah. Rather, what I'm doing is I'm just creating a virtual machine plain so that it's easy for everyone that, OK, I have done a mistake and I'm recreating it. Because not everyone is following it the same sequence of others. I just want to simulate that environment. This is called as my public VM, right? Blah, 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 blah. Be cautious in troubleshooting. Next. Now tell me, what should I choose here? I should choose a private or public. I should choose public. And then it should be my public VM. OK. Don't forget. So if you have made any mistake, you know how to troubleshoot now. Correct? We made everything manually. If you make mistake, you should know how to troubleshoot. I want you to learn troubleshooting. So I'm just creating it just to ensure that everyone learns how to troubleshoot by manually creating it. Automation, I understand. You don't know how to read the script or you may have difficulty in reading the script. But I think we have done everything manually and I have shown you how to manually troubleshoot it. So let me do this. The moment I log in and I test it, everything will work fine. Now, this is what I want you to understand, that there are many components that are there and that has to be understood very clearly. See, a mistake can happen at a subnet level. A mistake can happen at a NSG level. A mistake can happen at a VM level. When you see something is not working as intended or as expected, you have to troubleshoot at all levels. Again, I just showed you as an error mandatorily. I made an error just to show you that. It will take a minute to connect because it is just booting up. Why I don't have access to RDP? Tell me. I'm trying to access. Let me see whether it is in the right network or not. Public should be in which network? See, 10004. Now it is in the correct state. Now it is in the correct state. Now why can't I access it using RDP? Why can't I access using an RDP?
Because you have removed that public subnet from the NSG.
I have removed the public subnet from the NSG. Now shall I add it again?
You added then.
I added now. Let us wait and see. See, this lab is all about experimentation. What you have done in the previous, are you doing anything new here? Last week, whatever you have done, NSG, ASG, sorry, not even ASG, NSG, virtual network, and VMs, which you have done in the last week. And we just learned how to create storage accounts, and then you're combining all of them. You're combining all of them. In the real world, your requirement is like this. You combine all the technologies and work together.
If we add the public subnet now, but we have another rule which is combined with storage accounts to access that. So
that means, OK, my RDP is possible, but my storage account connection is not possible. Got it? But still I can't RDP. See why? It is telling me I cannot RDP into the system. Why? What is the inbound rule? Inbound rule is anything towards the virtual network. That means subnet associations are already there.
I think restart us.
But I just started the server, no? I just created the server.
Okay.
So see, there is something called test your connection. I'm just showing you. Connection source is any IP address. I want to do RDP, test the connection. There is a network troubleshooting tool here also. I just want to introduce you to all of them. Like last time, I'll give you a question and I will leave for the session. You have to find it out. Like I have given you session, no? Last time, why DNS is changing. Actually, only one person get back to me asking that, you know, Nishant, we did this. We have to answer that. Like that, I will also keep a question mark here. You need to go back and research, and next week when you come back, you have to tell me what happened, why it was behaving like that. Because if you don't do research, if you just want to learn what I taught, that may not work out. Yeah, because there are so many components in cloud and self-study is very, very important. Yeah, now it is asking for password. Right now, why it is asking for password? Before, why it did not ask? Why it was telling RDP having an issue? Same password, same system, 19. See, 16. I'm still accessing 20, 20, 55, 55, 88, 88, 16, 16. Now if I go and try to access the system, will it work? So one learning that you should do is always practice, remove one rule. First make a system which is working. Any environment you take, first make it work. Once you have a working environment, fine tune, delete one rule and see whether it is working fine or not. Delete other rule, see whether it is working fine or not. That's how you need to work. Yeah. Now if I take it, copy. So server is taking time to start. So I have to wait for the server to come up and then implement it. And can I assume that you guys are, after going home in the last week, you guys are working on it, right? The lab documentation is there. You're doing once in class and you have to do after going home also. The same lab. Trust me, everything that you're going to get in your final exam will only come from your lab documentation. And whatever I'm going to ask you is from this only. So that means I'll give you a scenario and your answers are already there in the documentation and the practice that you have done. You just need to meet the scenario requirements. See, access denied. Clear?
Yeah.
So tell me where and all issues can happen in this architecture. Issues can happen at a public private subnet level. Issues can like means at the time of creating a VM, issues can happen. Issues can happen at an NSG level. Issue can happen at a storage account level. So it is our responsibility to go ahead and troubleshoot at multiple levels and then work on top of it. Clear? I want you to learn troubleshooting is also because Nishant, I'm not an admin. Why do I need to learn troubleshooting? If you are not an admin, but you are a security engineer, right? Tomorrow, some engineer comes and tells, hey, you have done some security thing. After that, my VM stopped working. How will you to help them? How will you defend yourself? That no, it was not my mistake. It is your mistake. Is when you know how to troubleshoot and then say, oh, boss, this is your mistake. I did not do any changes. Just to get that comfort. OK.
So the drive mapping, network drive mapping is changed from the public, public.
No, I did not get you, Venkateshwara. I don't know why your audio is very barely audible for me.
Okay, can you let me know?
Yeah. Repeat that. Can you be a little slow in speaking? Thank you.
You have mapped the network in the public VM, right? So is that failed or successful?
Failed. Oh, you did not observe? Failed. Access is denied.
But in the network security group, you have added this public support also.
Yeah, but at a network security group level, I have added. But look at my storage. My storage is only accepting private.
Yes.
Yeah. OK, cool.
You said one question I have. Can you hear me?
Yeah.
So when we try to create a template out of this whole lab or something like that, then what I uploaded apart from the template or JSON file, there is one file like parameters file.
Yeah, that is different. So what happens is now what you can do is you can have two different set of files. One is called as parameter file. The other one is a configuration file. So what happens is, for example, if you have a dev environment, your dev parameters may change, right? if you have a production environment, you may have production environments change. So what you can do is you can write two configuration files. One is a system configuration. The other one is the parameters. So you can have, when you upload both of them, so it will read the parameter file and then fetch the parameters from there. For example, you want a specific username. For dev, you want a specific username. For production, you want a specific username. That can be done in the parameters file.
At a time, we have to upload both the files
Both.
and then click file. Okay.
Correct. You have to upload both the files and then only you click on save. And in the configuration file, you have to mention that it's a parameter file to refer to the variables.
So just a note, if for other people, if we try to create VMs in each US, it's not happening now with our student access. So I think you can use other locations if somebody's trying.
Okay.
Yes, Venkateshwara, that is. So we are at Australia East from last.
Yeah. The past, other than East US, then we don't have problem. But I tried with East US and it's very slow.
Another question.
Yeah.
So
Sure.
below we have the exceptions, right? So we select the current screen that you are in. So below you have exceptions. Allow Azure services on the trusted services. So this means that any Azure service can connect. Right?
Any Azure service can connect. However, it is if it is coming from the private subnet only.
Okay.
Yeah. But now, for example, because it is a private, for example, I'll take another service like load balancer. Load balancer has a network configuration. Okay. So load balancer, if it is put in the private, it will be working. But I'll take another service. For example, security operations center, SOC. SOC doesn't have any IP addresses. Can it access storage? Yes, it can access the storage. Okay. Microsoft Defender for cloud, they don't have IP addresses. Can it access storage? Yes, it can access storage. That's why allow Azure services on the trusted services list like advisor, defender, monitor, active directory. These guys doesn't have IP addresses. They work on the tags. Got it?
Yeah. And in case if we disable it, then the storage account would not be monitored.
Correct. Yeah, absolutely correct. Then any other specific question? That's correct. Give me a minute, please.
Hi folks, can you hear me?
Yes, Sri Krishna.
Hey, is the class done for the?
Yeah, yes, we are pretty much done for the day. In case if you would like to leave for the session, please feel free to leave. I'll be here for a few more minutes to see if they have any questions.
Okay, sure, Nishant. Thank you.
Yeah,
I'll
but
be dropping.
guys, please complete our exercises. You have to complete the exercises and don't forget to delete your existing resources.
Sure.
Sure, Nishant.
Yeah?
Thank you.
Okay.
Thank you.
Hi, Nishant. Hello.
Yeah.
I'm trying to deploy the template and facing the problem. I just wanted to understand the troubleshooting.
Yeah, you can share the screen, Venkateshwara.
Can you see my screen? Hello, can you see my screen?
Yeah.
Am I audible, Nishant?
Yeah, you're audible.
Yeah. So
can you click on the error? Deployment failed. Can you click on the error? The resource Microsoft under the resource group test RG was not found. So you are expecting a virtual group test RG, but why test RG? Why test VNet? Okay, which are you deploying? In our day-to-day for our lab, we are not using any deployment script, no?
No, not. I mean, actually, what I've done is like I have done the lab in a different region. Their VMs are failing. So what I've done is
leave about that. But you have to for these labs you have to do manually, no?
Yeah, I have done it manually, but in a different location. So I just wanted to.
No, you are not done. Okay, if you have done manually, why test VNet? Because we never created a test VNet in our lab.
I created. I mean, I have used on my names and I have not followed the names, but I have followed the procedure.
Okay, I'll tell you one thing. Try to follow the same naming. It will be easy for you because for me also to look at it and troubleshoot, it is easy. See, it's actually looking for a test RG. Do you have a test RG?
No, there is no
then,
test RG.
Then without the resource group, how will you create the network in it? Correct, no? See, it's expecting a test RG group, but you don't have it.
It has to pick up the same order, right? Like these parameters are already there in the.
Show me. Show me.
Okay.
First, you have to show me resource group, whether that resource group is there or not. Then you talk about the thing. It will be easy. No, this will not work out. This template itself will not work out.
Okay. How can you say that?
I'll tell you the reason. Because these parameters are different from what we are doing. This configuration is not important for us. The storage account, all this is not important for our day-to-day activity, for this lab mainly.
Okay.
So you have to do multiple changes, not at one place. Huh?
Okay. So
you have to do multiple changes at every place.
Okay.
Yeah. See, direct exporting will not work. Okay. You just export from the previous lab and import it. You have to see what is required there and what is required here in this lab. Then it will work. You have to write very generically. This is all of things what which I have written is lab specific.
Okay. Yeah. So in the real world, for example, if I have to export them, how to?
You will never do this method. You will never follow this method. There is a different method to do it.
Okay.
From the scratch, you will write ARM templates.
Okay.
You will only use them as a reference.
Yeah. Yes.
Okay.
Can you please share some more lab sessions to attend the certification also in future?
Yeah, we have next week. After that week, we have 6 weeks like this.
Okay. So at the end of this
Hello,
course,
Venkateshwara.
yeah. At the end of this course, can at least are we at least in a position to attempt the exam? Is it 500?
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Okay.
But with this knowledge, you will not be able to go because what you are doing is practical implementation. What you get in the exam is theory.
Okay.
You should be ready with theory, no? Scenario based questions will come.
Okay.
So you should be ready with the theory.
Where to get that theory from if you really want to understand?
If you look at the okay, 1 second, I'll give you. Give me 1 minute. Just a second.
Nishant, the Git pages what you had shared, will we be having those access anytime?
Yeah.
Okay.
Hey guys, can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay, I have shared a link in the chat box. Did you receive it?
Yes, we did.
Yes.
That AZ500 exam. Yeah.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Now open that link. Open that link.
Yeah.
And if you go to that link, below that, you will see a lot of things. 1 second. Give me 1 minute. So did you open that link? You can look at my screen. Huh? So whatever theory you want, the theory will come from here. Huh? Can you see my screen?
Yes, sir.
The theory will come from here. And I have given the same link in your this one, LMS also. You can just look at it. See, part 1, identity access management, platform protection, securing your data and applications, and manage security operations. So this is where you will get the theory from. Yeah. And guys, just give me 1 minute. I'll also give you day 2 feedback link. Okay, you can just give me 1 minute.
And Nishant, I believe regarding to this exam, we will have a lengthy discussion, right, on how the preparation and other stuff.
That
Or,
AZ500?
yes.
Oh, during the next 6 weeks, we can do a lot of stuff.
Okay.
Yeah, but I'll give you day 2 link. Just complete the feedback link. See, you have to be giving me feedback so that if you feel any changes, I'll bring it. Now, I'm sure you know how many sessions we have, right? We have totally 4 sessions for this, 4 sessions for next security engineering, right? The security engineering will also talk on Azure only. That will also fall in place with AZ500. Okay.
Security engineering, as in it's a different module, sir, or?
Yeah, it's a different module. Next module is security engineering. This is cloud security architectures, where you will be learning fundamentals. There you will be learning a little more complex, advanced architectures.
So you would be continuing the security engineering as well?
Almost.
Okay.
Almost. In the worst case, I may not, but yeah, in almost in all cases. But yeah, but everything is going to fall in place with AZ500.
Then in that case, I have another question.
Yeah.
So actually, I'm not from cyber security batch.
Okay.
So I'm from cloud architecture and security, and I don't have a security engineering module in my course.
No, it is there. It is covered in yours also, but with a different
Okay.
curriculum and all.
Oh,
If you are
okay.
coming from a cloud security background,
Yeah.
but trust me, directly you joined this batch. No, you did not hear any classes over there.
Yes, no.
That is the reason you are facing difficulty.
No.
If you have started there, you will have. See, trust me, after completing this course, you will go to that course, no, back. You will feel, oh, I know everything, I know everything, I know everything. Why? Because you have studied everything here, no?
Yeah.
You'll feel that there. Because you directly joined here, you are feeling everything complex. For everything, you have a doubt there. But in that course, you will start anything from scratch, no?
Yeah.
Again, you will start there from scratch. What is cloud? What is VM? What is network interface? You will start everything there again.
Okay.
From fundamentals. So everything will be easy there.
Okay.
Yeah.
So it's a continuous, almost like 8 weeks course together with security engineering.
There you will start anything from scratch. So you should not. It's not like continuity. That's a different batch. This is a different batch.
Okay.
Yeah. You're directly jumping and sitting in cloud security module. However, you should do cloud fundamentals, cloud administration, and then sit in cloud security.
This is what I have discussed earlier with the program officer. I mean, but I'm the only guy from cloud architecture and security batch. So just to
maybe this is like a bonus for you.
okay.
Yeah, this is like a bonus because again, when you start that other course, no, it again starts from operating system fundamentals, blah blah blah, and all. Because I have designed that course.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay. Cool. So guys, I have given you day 2 feedback link. Just fill it up. If you feel something going well, something going bad, if you have liked something, please fill it so that I understand where you are coming from. And also trust me, you are in a cloud security module. So I'm assuming that you have some basic fundamentals of cloud. Yeah, but in case if you don't know, that's absolutely fine. I'll go ahead and repeat concepts. And one more thing, to be more effective in learning, you have to practice. Oh, Nishant, I'll learn 4 hours, 5 hours here and then go home. I will not touch that, will not work out. You will immediately forget everything. The moment you go.
So next week also will continue with the cloud security, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Is there any confirmation the date of exam for this module?
I'm not sure. I just need to check and I'll let you know.
we have a quiz next week or we
Okay, I just saw a feedback regarding the firewall rules. Anyway, I have another session which I again have to deep dive into firewall rules. If you are expecting in this session, yeah, I can accommodate also that. But the thing is, you have to be understanding that firewall is the most simplest, easiest thing that you will not do in cloud security. If you are thinking again, this is whoever it is, if you are thinking that when I make a career in cloud security, firewall is what I work on, trust me, that is the least thing that you will do. I'm into this domain for 3+ years now, only doing security architectures. Any security engineer you take, the most least time that you spend on cloud security is on the firewall. Where you will spend more time is on the IAM and on the DevSecOps security automation part. Anyway, once you get into the industry, you may also feel, because I'm not sure what background you're coming from, but trust me, the least thing that you will spend on a firewall is that. But however, I'll help you with firewall rules. Very simple. OK, you have to always look from the firewall order. Order of the rule matters a lot in the firewall lab. So for those who have written the comment or the feedback, that's absolutely fine. I'll go ahead and take it and then we'll see what more we can do. But however, I want you to do the predefined labs that are there and come up with questions. If you be a little more specific, it will help me to be more advanced. I can go a little more advanced also. I can go as deep as possible. I can take a packet and teach you. But the only problem is I want you to come up with the right questions. OK, say Nishant, I have done 1, 2, 3, 4. Tell me how do I do the fifth one? So that will actually give me more confidence on where to come and where to, add the point. You're getting me right? So anyway, I'll put more focus on the firewall also for you in the next class. Yeah. OK, guys, if there is nothing, you can drop for the day, and please look at the course outline. Look at the course outline, and the course outline I have given for 4 days. That should actually give you good clarity. OK, that's very important.
Listen, if you
I have given you day-wise agenda in the course outline. Yeah.
If you're dropping off for the session, then I have a very specific question to get to the course cloud architecture and security course. As you said, if you have designed that course, I just wanted to have a separate discussion for 5 minutes if you have.
Yeah, sure. One second now. Let me check for other friends if they have any other questions. If not, we will drop. Guys, any other questions?
No, Nishant.
OK, fine. Then you can absolutely drop. Anyone who has a questions, we can discuss and then we can drop.
Yeah. Thank you.
Cool then. Yeah, Venkateshwara. What is your question?
I'm looking at I only have the PPT with me that like what all are part of the cloud architecture and security and things like that. So I just briefly want to understand like initially I have attended a course which is operating system fundamentals and like network security fundamentals, which are mostly discussed about routers, switches, and how the on-prem networking goes on, these things like that. But I'm not into networking anytime, so I'm a pure software developer in terms of my understanding on the networks and all. But my expectation is to learn cloud networking, cloud related stuff, which is a bit easier than, because you don't need to go more detail into the networking stuff and all. But like I'm really a bit confused on what I will get out of the whole.
Did you go through the PPT?
Yes.
Did you go through the module step by step what you're going to learn?
Yeah.
So then you did not understood that?
Yeah, I did not understand. That's the reason of.
Okay, can you share your screen? Open the same PPT.
Yeah.
Share your screen. This can be, you can stop the recording. Yeah.
Yes, sir. I'll stop it, sir.
Or if it is not intended for the large audience, then we can discuss one-on-one.
Yeah, because again, these other audience will feel like it's nothing for not important for them actually.
Yeah.
So what I have given you my number. Just connect with me on WhatsApp. Let's discuss.
Okay, sir. Yeah, that's the question. Yeah. The number is in your.
Sorry.
Yeah. Okay, sir. Yeah.